Full council meeting to order. And first, do I have a motion to accept the agenda? McGowan and Campbell. All in favor? Carried. Declaration of pecuniary interest, if any. None noted. Okay. We need a motion for approval of the previous minutes. The regular council meeting, October 6th, is printed and circulated. McGowan and Knott. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Okay, no applications. Okay. Reeves report that I think it was a very successful Healthcare Heroes radio extravaganza on Saturday, and that as part of the Wingham Homecoming Committee, it was very nice to be able to make a $20,000 donation to Wingham District Hospital from that committee. And thank you to all that made pledges towards our hospital, because it's an important part of our community. Moving forward, for the County Council report, one of the things that happened at Committee of the Whole this past week was clarification that it will not be the 3rd of December for election of the warden. It will be the 10th of December, so that county schedule has been moved back 1 week to what was originally put in the county calendar that we were given at the beginning of the year. Moving forward, this is a motion for to approve the bills and accounts as of October 16th, totaling $344,316.86.
I'll move it.
Vauden and Campbell. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Okay. This is the department. And this is for you. Okay. In the CAO clerk report, there's a request for North Huron to agree to provide water service as per the fees in the policy for cross-border servicing to the property at 40532 Amberley Road, the former Jags property, as a condition of the application for consent with the municipality of Morris Turnberry, as recommended by the County of Huron Planning and Development Department. Who wants to lead off discussion? Bernie.
On this building that we're talking about, Henry, you're here. We'll allow Henry to speak. I believe this is the little house beside the old Jags restaurant. Have I got that right?
Yeah, the red brick towards the west.
Yeah. And it is not,
sorry, it's It should be through me that you ask Henry.
Okay, sorry. Through the Reeve, is it presently hooked up to municipal? And one more question. Through the Reeve? But the original building you bought, Hughes, is hooked up to?
The former Jake's restaurant is hooked on to sewer, to municipal sewer, but not to water.
Not to water.
We have our own water there.
Okay.
James.
To Reeve through to Henry. Is there a big rush on this, Henry? Like you want it tomorrow kind of thing? Or is it something you're working on?
Well, myself, I don't need the water, but it's the planning department that want to put it in as a condition of the severance, that the property is going to be hooked up through all services available. And the water is one of the all services potentially available. So without it, we need a yes or no, I guess. We can't move forward.
Councilor Wall,
I'm going to make a motion to authorize the connection in keeping with our cross-border policy.
okay, and that going back to the clause where it was encouraged to have both water and sewer, not just one of them.
I think you're in a unique situation. I mean, the motion's on the floor for water. We can debate it.
Okay, do I have a
Second.
second?
And Your Worship, if I can just clarify one point before we move on, though. I noticed that Morris Turnberry sent some correspondence along with the request and asking about the 30% of the municipal taxes. And just to be clear, that's a payment in lieu of taxes.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that are getting a misunderstanding that the municipality is asking for 30% additional taxes on properties connecting. That is not the case. It's a payment in lieu of taxes, just for clarification.
Thank you. Bill,
Just want to clarify through you with Henry, is the objective here, because he's already hooked up through the old Jags building to the sewer, now we're going to hook up the house to water? Is the idea to eventually use the same water and sewer hookup for both pieces?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. So that's why you only need one service.
Yes, you can only have one service per lot.
Right.
Brock,
Do we have a seconder for the motion?
yes.
Second.
This one second, okay. Okay, the question is, it seems to me that the talk was that there is a severance down the road that would require separate services. Is that not correct?
Well, this is where this, if I may speak.
Go ahead, Henry.
Answer the question. This is where the problem lies. The house is going to be joined to the Jags property. So, and you can only have one service per lot, per property. However, the planning department says if there is a different business going in there, and we don't know what we're going to do with the red brick house, just other than control the outside environment of it, because it's always been a bit of a disaster, then that would mean that would have to be a separate hookup for sewer and a second hookup for water. And I was told by Don that there's no need for that, plus it's not being provided. So that's one of the sticky points. I can only use it right now only for our own use as part of our retail outlet, not as a separate business, because each business, according to the planning department, has to be hooked on to its own water and sewer, which is very confusing, because if you're a little mall somewhere, a little strip, whether it is a hairdresser and a drugstore and what else, They don't have all separate hookups. There's one hookup and they share in the cost of that.
Okay, that we require a motion from council to clarify if the property is to be included in the policy for cross-border servicing. And so that's the rationale behind the motion. Right.
Well, we're not, aren't we not supposed to have both sewer and water?
Yes, and this is one place that didn't happen the way it should have. I'm not sure how long ago the original service, was it in your time on council, Archie?
I'm thinking 2000, there was a bunch of properties that got picked up along that road, and I'm thinking of it was just prior to amalgamation when North Plank got put in. I think, I'm not, you don't
Okay.
hold me to it.
So around 14 or 15 years ago approximately. Right?
So is this just not clarifying? This is clarifying it. It was supposed to have water and sewer. It just said sewer, it's water, that's just clarifying that, yeah, that it is under the cross-border agreements, huh?
This would be correcting the situation
Right, yeah.
to what the bylaw says. Bill?
Let me clarify. So very clear, are we or are we not asking for the 50%? From what I understand, your motion from Archie was to include the 50%.
To follow the policy.
My understanding from this motion is we're just agreeing to the water. We need another motion to say that to clarify that it is to be included in the cross-border servicing.
Yes.
I didn't want to muddy the waters here.
You want to separate the motions
Yes.
then?
Yeah.
Yes,
So
please.
So that this is the first one, that the council of the township of North Huron agree to provide water service as per fees and cross-border servicing policy in brackets to the property at 40532 Amberley Road, the former Jags property, as a condition of the application of consent with the municipality of Morris Turnberry as recommended by the county planning department.
So we're just going to agree to provide service, and then we'll have, you've got a second.
And then we will have a second motion. Is there any further discussion on what I just read? Bernie?
So I'm having a bit of a difficult time because we talked about, we only have water out there, but I believe I did read somewhere around 3 years ago that anytime water is hooked up, the sewer has to go with it. Before we muddy the water more, should we not check and see what our bylaw says? I know there were some that weren't, but I think I came across the bylaw that suggested they were supposed to. And through you, maybe Archie could help us with that, because you have a better, or may have a recollection of it.
Bernie, right off the top of my head, but perhaps Dom would be able to refresh us.
Yeah, actually, there you are correct, that if you have sewer, you are supposed to have water, but there's also a provision in there for side agreements where only one will be provided, which this case, I believe, falls under, like the Jags.
So we're clear to go ahead.
Okay. If there's no further questions, all in favor? Carried. Okay. And what we're looking at now, the council of the township of North Huron agreed to provide water service, brackets, as per the fees in the policy for cross-border servicing. Okay. And this is Okay. That we need the motion to clarify that this property fits under North Huron's policy for cross-border servicing, or the requirement of a payment in lieu.
I'll move that.
Okay, Vauden and Knott. Is everybody clear? Any questions? Bill?
Could I throw it, or just ask if it would be possible to consider that because we're only providing one service this time, that we only request half of the 30% instead at this point in time, as a concession to the fact that we already had an existing service there prior to? It's considerations.
It changes the intent of the original motion. It would be an amendment, and if you're proposing that as an amendment, it would need a seconder. Is there a seconder for an amendment? Okay. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor? Carried.
Consistent.
Bree Vincent, can I still speak for one moment? Is that allowed?
I will grant you.
Thank you. So it's my understanding now that you've passed all this and there'll be a 30% surcharge coming from here to Morris Turnberry. And in return, Morris Turnberry will charge us 30% more.
Your worship, may I clarify this? This is what I...
I'll let you go over that again, Archie.
Exactly some of the miscommunication that's coming across that I'm getting feedback from some of the public. What this means is that as a requirement for hooking into the service, 30% of the municipal taxes that they receive from that business have to flow through back to North Huron as a payment in lieu of taxes. It's only on the municipal portion, not on the total
municipal
tax
portion.
So it's a payment in lieu of what, the 30% of what, in lieu of what would be, because North Huron is in need of tax dollars. And since the municipality, the business isn't within our municipality in granted the services, it's a payment in lieu of taxes. But you don't, North Huron has not ever contemplated a scenario where your municipality would upcharge you an additional 30%. I mean, that would be up to their council, and I can't speak to what they would do of it. But it's typically just to be a flow through. So 30% of the municipal portion would flow back to North Huron from Morris Turnberry.
It's my understanding that council is deciding that tomorrow night as to how they're going to either do this, either pay this over, or charge us extra.
That's up to them.
Yeah. And if they're going to charge us extra, then I will withdraw the application and will not be hooked onto water. Because I think it's terrible that businesses have to pay an extra 30% of the municipal portion of the taxes. I fully support the payment. I think it's necessary, but not the way the other municipality is trying to recoup that cost of it.
I think we would be in agreement, but of course, Henry, we're not, it's a
understand.
separate council, but I certainly concur with your feelings on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have a request for a donation of basically ice rental fee from the Wingham firefighters. They want to host a game between Wingham and Kincardine firefighters, and they want to practice, and then they want to have a game. What's council's thoughts?
I'm not supportive.
Bill?
Do we need to make a motion?
No.
Or just, we can just let it die?
Can't make a negative motion, so.
If,
I think we're wholly supportive of what they're doing, but we can't, I don't think we can waive it, we'd be setting a pretty big precedent.
that it's not a fundraiser for anything, so that in that, I think we'll let it lie where it is. Yeah. Moving to the point 3, the council of the Township of North Huron received the correspondence from the municipality of Central Huron regarding North Huron cross-border servicing agreement, and further that the correspondence from the municipality of Central Huron be forwarded to the council of the Township of North Huron, whose term commences on December 1st, 2014, for their consideration. And further that, a meeting with the councils of the Township of North Huron and the municipality of Central Huron be planned after December 1st, 2014, to work towards a mutual agreement regarding the issue of cross-border servicing. Do I have a mover? Campbell, and not. Discussion.
Can I just, again, reiterate another comment? Here we have another letter that is framing our policy in a light that it is additional taxation, and also question the legality. So 2 points. One, this is not additional taxation. It is a payment in lieu of taxes. There is a very clearly delineated difference between the two. It is a payment that represents something in lieu of taxes coming back into our municipality. As to the legality of this, we have had very clear legal advice about the fact that our municipality cannot and isn't obligated to provide services to any outside municipality, and that in order to set putting services in the adjoining municipalities, they can set whatever policy that they wish, and municipalities will look upon that and decide whether they wish to participate on that. It is not an additional tax. It is a portion of a payment that represents a portion of the revenue and taxation that the adjoining municipalities are gaining through utilization of our services, which are paid for by our taxpayers. So I think there is a very clear difference. It is a payment in lieu. It is not an additional taxation. I just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you. Okay, any other discussion on this motion? Bernie?
The last council meeting, I handed out a pamphlet, I guess you'd call it, with a few different agreements, and I think it's good that the next council will meet with them. For instance, it says here Goderich Central Huron boundary adjustment. Deitchich Road, Highway 21 lands north of Deitchich Road become part of Goderich. 60-40 tax sharing arrangement. Goderich agrees to service other lands in Central Huron. So there are other things that can be done. Obviously, this community has done it before, so when we sit down with them, they'll have a clear understanding of where we want to go. So yes, I think we should sit down with them and see where we can go, but definitely there are agreements such as the 30%, and again, on this piece of paper shows where another jurisdiction shared 30-70% tax sharing. So.
And as you said, there's all kinds of them, and there's other precedents even between us and Morris Turnberry on land provided instead of a cash settlement. Okay, if there's no further questions, all in favor? Carried. Moving to the Public Works report. Anything you want to add, Kelly, or?
No, I'm not looking for a motion, I just want to keep council abreast.
That this is received for information. If there's no questions, we'll move to.
I would like to
James.
say this is a good report.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate this.
Yes.
Just bringing it right up to us, what we have done, and thank you.
Moving forward, this will be something that is brought up.
Okay.
Brock?
I'm going to bring up my old question about the columbarium possibility in the Blythe Cemetery.
I just received a drawing from a local company with no monetary, just to give us an idea so we can put it out there for tender. So yeah, it's definitely still in the works. As you know, things do take time, and it's just one of those things that's taking a bit of time, but
Right.
it's still in the works, Brock.
Thanks very much, Colin.
Okay, moving to 6.4.4, Director of Recreation and Facilities, that there's the staff report. It's on House and Dam and the possibility of making a Huron Heritage Fund application.
So moved.
Okay, McGowan and Knott. Discussion? James?
I wonder if this shouldn't be left until after the new council comes in, because we are committing money here, probably down the road at a further time in regards to what we do tonight, that the new council will have to be confronted with.
Just a couple of points, Your Worship. One, this is beneath the number within our allowable. It's within the amounts we're allowed to do. We're allowed to apply for applications. Two, I don't see, this doesn't do anything but help the future council with engineering fees. So I think it's a plus for the taxpayers. I don't see a downside unless I'm missing it.
Bill?
Yeah, we're not spending any more money here, we're just applying for a grant for $5,000, right?
What we're allowing an application to
An
be made.
application.
And maybe I should clarify a little bit on Huron Heritage grant monies. There's 2 intake dates, and that basically you apply to get in on the things, and that it's things that preserve heritage are the aim of this. And it is a relatively small amount in a lot of ways, but it helps get a number of, be one of those add-ons to help out getting a number of projects done. It just makes it feasible for certain things to get done. And by making the application and supporting the application, that if the money isn't spent, it stays with Huron Heritage, so that they have to go ahead and do it to get the actual money. So I don't see any downside of this myself. Brock?
I think the intake is November 1st, is it not? Or is it dated?
Yes.
November 1st.
So it would be great to get it in advance, so I think we should move ahead on. Pat has a...
Pat?
I was just going to comment that the application is clear as I'm filling it out, and we are asking for funding to assist with the engineering to investigate the future of the dam. I've not asked the funds to go towards preserving the dam. It is to go towards understanding the costs and studies needed to be done to understand the dam. This council owns the dam and the rest surrounding land, and will have to make the future decision on the dam's future. It's simply an option here to take advantage of a fund that is available for a 162-year-old structure, and hopefully we can use that to help against our expenses on the engineering. So I just want that to be clear, that that's not a, if we don't do the dam restoration, we won't get the money. This is asking for the engineering only. So I don't know if that answers your question, James. Oh, and the request is coming from the committee that's doing this. We're just assisting with the application.
James?
At the council meeting that this was talked about, they said they probably didn't need 15,000, and now here we are asking for another 5,000 because the 15,000 isn't going to be enough. That is
That's
my
not what's being said.
It's, that's
okay.
not the way I read it.
It's
Bill,
opposite
you want to
arguments.
speak?
Yeah, my understanding simply is that we've already authorized them to spend 15,000. They're just advising us of the opportunity and asking us to work with them to apply for the 5,000, which will offset the 15,000 we've already told them to spend. Correct?
That's
Correct,
right.
in a nutshell.
Any further questions? All in favor? Carried. Okay, Donna, we'll let you talk again.
Okay, thanks. So under the bylaw section, bylaw number 76, I have a bylaw there with an agreement to enter into with Sauble Bayfield Conservation Authority to carry out the enforcement under the Ontario Clean Water Act for source water protection within our municipality. So this has been ongoing over the last at least 1 year, and longer than that, I guess, it's several years. So this, the North Huron has, through earlier discussions, agreed that Sauble Bayfield would take over this function on your behalf. And the first step was, quite some time ago, was to enter into an agreement with the ministry for funding on that. So of course, part of that funding would go towards the Sauble Bayfield to pay for all the things that we have to get done, such as the risk management plans and a lot of the mapping and those types of things. So the bylaw is coming up under bylaw number 76 in the bylaw section. So I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of this program. I'm not sure, Dawn, if you have anything further to add to it or not, but I'll just go on to number 2, which is related to it, and then we'll ask Dawn to add any further details. So both of these activities involve working with other municipalities. So as part of the agreement that's listed in your package, you can see all the other municipalities that have also taken part in transferring the authority to carry out these actions and implementation to the Sauble Bayfield. But secondly to that, if we collaborate with other municipalities, there is an opportunity to receive additional funding further of $15,000 if you work as a group, which only makes sense because this is a complicated issue, and Sauble Bayfield is working for the same number of municipalities anyway. So step 1 back some time ago was you entered into an agreement with the ministry to accept the funding. This second step is to enter into an agreement with Sauble Bayfield Conservation Authority to carry out the work for you. And then the third item is to submit a statement of collaboration to apply for additional funding, working together to achieve this common goal of implementing these plans. So, Dawn, is there anything further that you would like to add on the whole source water protection function?
No, not really. No, it is specialized work. It's better to have specialized people, in which Sauble Bayfield would enable to have the people to do the work in an economical way. So.
James.
This is a 3-year contract we're looking at here. By doing this bylaw, this is locked in for 3 years. It's Schedule A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The problem, sorry.
Go ahead.
The problem that we may run into, though, and the gist of this is that you become self-sustaining on this. So the funding that we've received, they actually may not get all of the work done. We may not actually be able to use the funding that we're entitled to because the work may not be done. But that is the whole hospice, I guess you would say, of the source water protection, that it become a municipal function and that you have to plan to budget for this in the future. So as I said, Sauble Bayfield is planning to do as much work as possible by the end of 2016 to access all the funding that they can, but there'll still be work that needs to be done because you have a 3-year plan, 3-year time frame to implement the plan, but they can't possibly get all the work done in that time frame. So,
Probably after the end of 2016, we'll be on our own. Because they
Yes.
figured the source water protection will probably be done in 2016. So that's kind of what it's setting us up for, so that we're prepared to go ahead when they're finished.
yes, and we'll have to do it ourselves, and it'll become a regular budget item from then on.
And put another budget item,
Okay, so the bylaw will come up under the bylaw section. I just wanted to give you a little bit of background because it is linked to the collaboration statement. But I was looking for the motion to be
You want
passed.
me to read
Sure.
the suggested motion? The council of the Township of North Huron confirm that the township is collaborating with the municipalities outlined in Part D of the collaboration statement to implement source protection plan policies for which the township, if obligated to implement, and that the collaboration activities adhere to the eligibility criteria outlined in Part A of the collaboration statement.
So moved.
Vaughan moves, Bailey seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you, Donna.
Okay.
Grandview Development. Don in charge of that?
Yes, that's Don's report.
Okay, in the 6.4.6, the utility department, .1, Don, do you want to
Yes,
give a bit of lead in on that?
We have a request before us where the Grandview is requesting upgraded services, more to do with with the new building code, more than actually increasing the capacity. So, yeah, they would like to increase from a 1-inch water service to a 2-inch water service, and from a 5-inch sanitary sewer to a 6-inch. And the suggested fee would be the difference. Historically, they've used 1.75 cubic meters, and they anticipate they'll will be using 1.77. So it's a difference of like only 0.2 cubic meters per day capacity with both water and sanitary sewer. The connection fee would be about $1,200.
Okay. That any of the council have comments they want to make, or
I'll make a motion for discussion purposes, at least.
in favor of it?
Yes.
Okay,
So I will move that we provide this upgraded service to the Grandview project.
seconder? Right? Okay. Discussion? Bernie?
So if we make this connection, I guess the first question is going to be, this will fall under our new policy, cross-border agreements. I would presume. So we'll have to make the second motion on this one too. Okay.
There's the motion there.
Bill?
I'm just gonna, Brock's making a motion, but we have a drafted motion right here. Should we not be voting on the drafted motion? Or doesn't matter, because it
That's
doesn't,
just for,
yeah,
Suggestion.
but it does have
This is
the,
suggested.
does have the 30% representation.
Ernie?
I would like to throw a second thing out there. Sorry, were you, somebody else talking? This is a new hookup, and I think it should be new hookup fees. Would I be right or wrong in that? Rather than playing with a dollar here and a dollar there and getting into down the road setting precedent for a dollar here and a dollar there.
That's a decision that has to be made, and we can make an amendment to the motion. If,
But again,
someone
Yeah,
wishes.
actually, among the staff, came up with 4 different scenarios as to who should be charged or how it should be charged. So that's why I just give that as a suggestion. One of the suggestions was, as you say, you basically start fresh and go with capacity that way. I was just looking for direction on it.
Ray?
But the cost of this is going to be charged to the developer.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yes, actually, yes, so the developer, as part of the application, it spells out in there what his responsibilities are, and he is responsible for the installation of the new lines, new water meter, and right to.
Brock?
The reason that I left out the business of our current policy and so on is I think we need to make a decision whether this is in fact a new hookup or whether it's just a modified hookup. And I think that's an important decision that we need to make. And I'm not deciding one way or the other. I just think that we need to provide them with service, for sure, and that's what my motion holds. Now we need to make a decision as to whether this is a new hookup or not, and which policy it attaches to.
The one thing that I will bring forward at this time, that I do not have the information as to whether there was new zoning put on that property when Central Huron agreed to let it go, proceed. And that I think as part of our policy, if there's a new zoning on that property, that would govern exactly what we do on this. And that myself, I'm not prepared tonight to make the decision without the knowledge of whether there's new zoning on that property or not.
So are you suggesting a tabling motion till we have this conversation with them?
Either that or let the motion die, which I would be in favor of. Seconder agrees.
I will go with council's decision, but I feel that I don't have the information I need to vote on this tonight, right?
But one thing, you said the zoning would be changed, would it be changed on this?
Different
That-
business.
Possibility?
It's a different
Yes.
business.
I thought it was but there's a
Gas bar.
There's
Convenience.
There's
convenience store option to it.
convenience store has been added to, it was food and gas bar before. And that there's been so many changes on this, I don't have a copy of the last set of changes that were made. So that I have to say that I'm not sure exactly what Central Huron actually passed when they said proceed with it. Brock?
I think there's one thing that we should keep in mind when we make this decision, is that if we're just splitting hairs, we're just saying well, there's a little bit of a change here, so let's nail them with the additional fees. I think that's mean, and I don't think we need to operate that way. On the other hand, I'm not a one-handed economist here, but on the other hand, we need to be consistent. We need to have, because there will be more cases like this coming up. So I think we need to put a lot of thought into this, and I would be willing to suggest that make a motion of tabling this motion for the next session.
Until, can you put a date?
The next meeting, our next meeting.
November, first meeting of this council in
Yeah.
November?
Yeah.
It will be brought back forward? Okay. Ray, are you?
Don's still
Oh.
coming there, and I have
Yeah,
one too.
I was just kind of curious, if the zoning was changed, would we not have got notification since we're an adjoining municipality or no?
I believe we did. I think I remember seeing it come through, but I'm not positive. I like Reed would like to dig a little further.
We've been pretty much in the dark for 6 months, really. We really haven't had much information at all.
I was just going to make one quick comment on this issue, because this is a little bit of a different kind of an issue, because you have an existing hookup. So in my mind, I would suggest that if this existing hookup was in place prior to passing of our policy, that it wouldn't necessarily, the 30% kick in, because it is an existing one. Although it is being upgraded, it was there before the policy was put in place. But if there is a rezoning that is changing that in some way, then I think it does trigger the policy. So I think, I agree with the Reeve and Councillor Bodden that putting it off and getting some more information before the next meeting so we can make a definitive decision that follows our policy properly and consistently is a good idea.
Ray?
I guess my comment is that the developer's paying for everything. He's going to be willing to pay for everything, for the upgrade, for the sizing, the whole thing, so I can't see. Is it just this zoning thing that is supposed to be told about? No? Is that, am I getting that?
It's not the hookup fee that's the issue here. It's the ongoing relationship financially with that property.
I don't think it's a question that it's not going to be offered. I think it's in what terms. So I don't think it's a question whether the hookup is going to be upgraded. It will be, but it's the terms of the policy and how it will be applied that are the question, just to be clear.
Well, we made one decision tonight on a cross-border, and I want it to be consistent with what we have done on it, because
we have to.
that we've got to be consistent on the first two of what we're doing. Okay, voting on the motion to table. All in favor? Carried. And with the rest of your report, Don, is there any questions for Don on the rest of his utility report?
If I may, just an update. So the RFP is in final draft stage today. I'm hoping to have that in my hands tomorrow for distribution to the well drillers. The timeline's fairly short. I'm planning on having a site meeting for the well drillers on Friday, and the closing date for the RFP will be on October 30th. So hopefully they can still have it drilled by mid-December. So it's fairly tight. So other than that,
Okay, I would ask for the council of the Township of North Huron to hereby accept the report of the chief operator as presented. Campbell and Hallahan. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, Don. Okay, you're looking for unfinished business? Here. Nothing for that, is it? Okay, moving to 8.1 in new business, it's a consent application for file number B36/2014. The applicant owner is Wayne S. Hopper, and this is for 86323 London Road, part lot 42, concession 13, East Wallenosh Ward, Township of North Huron. We require a motion. Ray?
Yeah.
You're in favor?
Granted with conditions, yeah.
And James is seconding that. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Okay, moving to council information. There's a number of points there. Brock?
I'd like to make a note of the commendation that came from the Huron Economic Development Partnership, the person of John Grace, the chair of that partnership, recognizing the contribution of Connie Goodall to economic development in this area. I think that's great. He's done a great deal of important and useful work, and we much appreciate it. Thanks, Connie.
You're welcome.
And I think all of council also adds to that. Thank you for your work in economic development. On the 9.4, I will be attending the Huron Federation of Agriculture meeting. James?
Since I'm a diabetic, I'd like to see us support 9.5. Diabetes awareness month.
Certainly.
Unless it's a conflict of interest, but
Okay. Is that a motion from
That's a
Campbell and
motion.
McGowan to follow the recommendations for?
I'd like to make a comment on that before we vote. I'm just making note of the fact that Huron County is noted for its number of diabetic people. It's almost an epidemic in this community, and we have about 4 diseases that are way above what they should be with a population such as we have. So diabetes is a very, very critical thing, and I think we should support it.
Thank you, and I would speak strongly in favor of it too, because there's a number of things that the Diabetic Association can do to help people that are maybe at risk, and there's definitely lifestyle changes to be made, but they're a heck of a lot better than the options of not being able to heal properly and stuff, losing eyesight, and a number of the other things that diabetes does to debilitate a body. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion? Carried. Brock?
Fine, 9.6, I think it's comforting to find out that the federal government is not going to take our 3,500 megahertz band away from our rural area. I'm not sure that I believe this, but there has been certainly a lot of concern about how actions in Industry Canada are going to affect our local service providers who have been so loyal and have invested so heavily into this area. But it's good news that at least the minister is saying, no, it's sacrosanct, we're going to continue to serve the rural areas.
Is there any other points, or do you want to do the motion to receive, read, and file? McGowan, receive, read, and Hallahan, for receive, read, and file. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Do we have to do it? Okay, we don't have to do number 10. Committee reports, it doesn't look like there's any of them, so.
No, this isn't a committee report.
Okay,
but,
go ahead, Barb.
The Director of Recreation and Facilities would like to make an announcement.
Donna's
Donna's gonna-
So Pa would like to announce that the Chinese women's Olympic hockey team will be playing the girls Soggy Maitland Midget AA team in Wingham on November the 26th. And there are a few details available at this time, but we are really excited that this game has been confirmed and will be hosted in North Huron at the complex in Wingham. So that's November the 26th, the Chinese women's Olympic hockey team.
Great.
And you, Don, hear about that now.
Okay, that's very good news. I guess it's moving to bylaw. Bylaw number 76, 2014, being a bylaw to authorize the Raven clerk to, or designate, to sign on behalf of council an agreement with the Assault Bayfield Conservation Authority to carry out enforcement jurisdictional rights under Part 4 of the Ontario Clean Water Act 2006, as amended, as part of the implementation of the Assault Bayfield Source Protection Plan and the Maitland Valley Source Protection Plan within the municipality. Do I have a mover? One and not? Any discussion? All in favor? And that was 1, 2, and 3.
Right, 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Council reports or inquiries? James?
At our last council meeting, we had an in-camera session. And when I was out campaigning 3 days later, I had a person approach me to say that they had, what we had talked about at the in-camera session, what was done about it, and everything about it 3 days later. And I came in and talked to Barb about it, and she thought this needed to come up in front of council.
I feel that this is a very important issue, and I am going to read this report into the minutes with your
Certainly.
As Councillor Campbell has advised, there has been an alleged breach of the Code of Conduct. As all members of council are aware, there is a Code of Conduct for members of council that is Schedule A to Bylaw 72, 2013. And I will highlight the paragraph in the Code of Conduct that states, every member of council must hold in strict confidence all information of a confidential nature acquired in the course of his or her term with the township. Without restricting the scope of this rule, the following shall be considered breaches of the Code of Conduct. To use confidential information which members have access by reason of their position to further personal interest or interests of others. To disclose to unauthorized persons information marked confidential to which the member of council has access by reason of his or her position as member of council within the township. The obligation to keep information confidential is a continuing obligation even after the member ceases to be a member of council. A member shall keep confidential any information discussed in closed session until council directs that all information can be made public. Further to the alleged breaches to the Code of Conduct. If a breach of the Code of Conduct is alleged, the complaint shall be lodged with the CAO clerk in the form of an affidavit. The CAO clerk shall report the nature of the complaint to the council, and council shall appoint a person to act as an integrity commissioner to investigate the alleged breach. The CAO/clerk will keep an updated list of individuals who are willing to serve as an integrity commissioner. To take this a step further, according to the Ontario Municipal Act 2001, Chapter 25, Section 223.4, subsection 5, the municipality may impose either of the following penalties on a member of council or local board if the commissioner reports to the municipality that in his or her opinion, the member has contravened the code of conduct. Number 1, a reprimand. Number 2, suspension of the remuneration paid to the member in respect of his or her services as a member of council or of the local board, as the case may be, for a period of up to 90 days. Financial impact to the municipality would be the remuneration to pay an integrity commissioner to investigate the claim of the breach of the code of conduct. This may also involve staff time to assist with the investigation, as all books, accounts, financial records, electric data processing records, etc., will be accessible to the integrity commissioner. And the relationship to the strategic plan is goal number 4, our municipality is a fiscally responsible and accountable local government. Thank you, Your Worship.
I'm a little surprised. We've had very few instances, although we have had some over the course of the years, but very few. And I'm a little surprised.
I'm wondering through you to James, is there any possibility this person will file a complaint?
I don't believe, but the person wanted me to be made known of this, and I told him I would do whatever we needed to do about it, and I came in and talked to our CAO about this. I thought it was very important.
I agree.
That this came out on the street within 3 days.
Just before the election. Just before the election.
Okay. I think a number of us are shocked by that. Moving to other comments, inquiries.
Just a question then with regards to this. Barb hasn't made a recommendation, but I'm wondering if we should be dealing with it. I don't know.
Rob?
Well, ironically, since it is a matter dealing with closed meetings, we probably need to discuss this in a closed meeting.
Well, we can't discuss.
I'm serious.
Yeah, we can't discuss what.
If any names were mentioned,
That's what I'm saying.
it would, because of the Privacy Act, basically, one of the biggest reasons for us having to have in-camera sessions is the Privacy Act, where we cannot bring out individuals' names or things like that. Until somebody comes forward to basically sign the statement that they heard that, I don't think there's any chance of moving forward on it. I was made aware of this just before our meeting started tonight, so that, yes, it's shocking, but
Will we leave it with Councillor Campbell then to go back to the individual to see what their,
let's see if they're interested.
what their wish is?
The person didn't want their name brought forth,
No, of course not.
and they did not want to comment on it. They just wanted us to be made aware that this breach had been made, and that we as council maybe have to be It's all confidential, our in-camera sessions, and they need to remain confidential.
Despite what some people think.
What is so frustrating is that I've been really impressed with this council, how serious they are in keeping on the subject, not getting into extraneous matters and not bringing business into the discussion. This is really, really disappointing. I would suggest that are we having an in-camera session this evening? So I would suggest that be added to our list of reasons, things to discuss.
We either have to be discussing names or municipality doing business, buying or selling property, or the list. If we don't have any names,
Could I ask this question, in your worship, through you to Councillor Campbell? Would there be other information you could impart to us that may delve into one of those areas that this shouldn't be in an open session?
The reason that this came up in the open session, you mean?
No, I'm saying, is there other information that you're not willing to impart in open session because it would identify an individual?
That is very much correct.
I would suggest it does meet.
okay.
But I'm still not.
But I would digress to Barb.
He's not gonna-
No, if he's not gonna say, then it's not. No.
But in a sense, we're all impugned by this. I mean, at this point, it could be any of us, maybe more than one of us. You know, it's a.
I guess that's your conscience, because I told this person I would not bring forth his name.
Yeah, and you have to stick
I
with
will
it.
not bring forth
You have
his
to
name.
stick.
And that's how he asked it to be, but he thought we should, as a council, should know about it.
Okay. If there's no names or information to identify a person, we probably shouldn't go in camera with it.
Okay.
Okay. We're still in council reports or inquiries. Anything else? Okay, CAO's report.
Well, on a happier note, I have some information on the ballots that have been returned. And Ward number 1, which is Blythe, has a 29.19% return. East Wabanach has 36.76% return. And Wingham, Ward 3, has 32.52% return, for a total of 32.82% voter turnout. 32.82. I think that's good news. We still have
Just under a week.
we have a week less 5 minutes. For our eligible voters in the township of North Huron to get their ballot package into the office. I would not recommend that anyone put it in the mail now. If they can possibly get it into the office, it would be appreciated. If you have not received your ballot package, please come into our office. We'll put you on the voters list and you'll be able to vote. We are open here accepting ballots until 8 p.m. Monday, October the 27th. And I am estimating that with the number of people that we have helping to open the ballots and do the count, my latest hour would be 9:30. My best case scenario would be 9 o'clock, but in the event that we have any kind of breakdowns or who knows what, I'm sure we'll have the results to you here at 9:30. Okay? And we are going to make a call to you.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Okay? Thank you so much.
That's it for your report,
That
right?
is it from, oh no, I do have one more thing. and I don't know why it slipped my mind. The position for CIO/clerk has been advertised again. It was posted on Friday in the places that was advertised before. Okay, so hopefully we're going to get some good resumes that will come in and do a good job for you.
Well, moving to the public gallery questions or comments, please stand and state your name.
Yes, Brad Kirkland. With this new developing of somebody talking out of turn, how can we have a fair election when we can't trust one of the councillors that are on the ballots?
Your worship, does Mr. Carter know something we don't?
That is a
We don't-
comment. I don't look at that as a question.
Well, still, we can't trust one of us.
I'm not sure. This has been brought forward. It's news to me.
Well, it's pretty shocking, like you sign a code of conduct, it should be followed.
I agree. So that's why I'm accepting your comment as a comment rather than a question. Henry?
Yeah, one more question, and I'm probably going to ask Archie because he has all the answers tonight. In regards to this water agreement, the cross-border agreement, what triggers it exactly? What 3 items?
If I understand correctly, my recollection, it's a new service or a change in the zoning, and I think that was the only triggers. I'd have to refresh my memory and go back to it, but those are the 2 I know of for sure.
Yeah, that was my understanding as well. Now, in our case, there's no rezoning. Zoning doesn't change. The property that is joining ours automatically becomes the zoning our property is currently, which is commercial zone. It goes from development to commercial because that's what we have. So, and it's not a new installation. If anything, it would be an upgrade. So I'm questioning why, sorry.
It would be new for water.
Okay.
If I could clarify
Yeah.
too, if I understand correctly through you, your worship, to Henry, you already have sewer.
Yes.
So if you had come to us and said something needed to be done with sewers, that would not be a new connection.
Okay.
Because you had that connection prior to the new policy.
Okay.
But the water, as I understand it, you don't have right now.
No.
This would be something new, a new service going into your property. Am I right in that?
Yeah, apparently,
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Not that we want it per se, but
I
it is.
totally understand.
So then my other question is, earlier you were talking, you had to table this motion, you're gonna wait till next council meeting with the other developer. Why is it a discussion then? Why not the same 30%? When they're upgrading their system, and there may be, or not, or yes or no change in the zoning. That's just a question, observation.
The big thing is we want to make sure that there wasn't a change in the zoning. I had verbal information that there was, so that I just want us to be sure exactly what we're doing and have complete information on it. So that's why we're waiting till the first meeting in November to make the decision on it.
But if you change the status quo, like we did from a restaurant to a retail outlet or from a variety store, it automatically triggers a rezoning, which automatically then would fall under the new policy of the 30%.
It depends if the change in use still falls within one of the uses that the zoning currently has, I think. Right? Okay. If it's not within one of the permitted uses, then it would be.
No, I just want to make sure that it's fair for everybody.
And that's what we want to
Yeah.
make sure too, Henry. treating everybody the same.
Yeah.
Okay,
Robert Harth. I just want to applaud council for taking it a little easy with the next council, which I hope to be a part of, in your considerations in the next couple weeks.
Denny,
To Bob, for yourself, can we get a copy of that report, please, that you read from? Heck of a lot easier than trying to keep out there. Don't want to misquote you, so.
No, I don't want anything that's called me. I certainly will.
okay, if there's no further questions or comments from the gallery, do I have a motion to go in camera? Auden and Gowan? And this, we're going in camera for the security of the property of the municipality or local board. All in favor? Carried.